Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Got the Oregon Ducks commitment sweatshirt on once again as they land another commitment in the 2025 class coming from four-star wide receiver Isaiah Mozee. And right off the bat, I got to share the background story with Isaiah Mozee and Dan Lanning. Isaiah's father and Dan Lanning coached high school football in Kansas City together when Isaiah Mozee was just a kid. Now he's committing to play college football with Dan Lanning in Eugene. Nice little story. And I think the takeaway with Isaiah Mozee is a very similar conversation that we had with Cooper Perry, who committed to the Oregon Ducks yesterday. And that is, Oregon is doing a really good job getting guys to commit to their program that fit what they want to do on the offensive side of the football, right? It is easy to target the guys that are the biggest, the fastest, have all those track times. I think Dan Lanning, yes, you want to get the most talented guys to come to your program, but something that I don't think gets talked enough about is getting guys that really fit what you want to do on the offensive side of the football. Cooper Perry, Isaiah Mozee, both guys that know how to operate in space with the football in their hands, both can create separations quickly in their route trees. That's what Oregon covets, right? We talk about how did Oregon have such an elite offense last year. That ball was getting out quickly. It was getting out on time in space to their playmakers. And you had guys like Troy Franklin, Tez Johnson doing the rest. Isaiah Mozee, I think, fits right in to what the Oregon Ducks want to do on the offensive side of the football. Want to dive into the film, talk a little bit about what he brings to this Oregon program. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. Massive shout out to the Oregon Duck fans. Y'all know I love talking this program. The amount of support you guys continue to show to the boys truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Isaiah Mozee. And I mean, he's a smooth operator. That's probably the first thing that you'll take away from his film, whether he's running routes, whether he's operating with the football in his hands. He seems so smooth doing it, right? Very sudden, clean in and out of his breaks. This is a guy that separates, makes people miss, and those are some traits that you really want in that Oregon offense. And I think it goes along with a really impressive frame, kind of a sneaky impressive frame at 6'1", 185 with some room to put on a little bit more weight. You look at the film and it is pretty clear that Isaiah Mozee is one of those players on his high school team that, hey, we're going to get you the football by any means necessary. You're going to see some reverses. You're going to see him lining up in the backfield, some screens. We want to get this kid the football because he's electric in space with the football in his hands. Now, I want to dive into the film, talk a little bit about what he brings to this Oregon offense. First, I mean, really good at creating separation, right? Just a quick drag kind of over the middle of the field here, creating separation, really smooth after the catch, making people miss. But here's kind of the takeaways. I mean, 6'1", 185, you look at the contact balance, this is a guy that you consistently see make people miss and go through those arm tackles, which you don't always see with the wide receiver position. Really smooth with the football in his hands, operating in traffic, making people miss. If you take a bad angle on Isaiah Mozee, he's going to make you eat his dust. Guy that I'm saying, yeah, he's not the fastest player in this 2025 class, but he certainly is not slow. But sometimes when you're talking about that wide receiver position, it's better to be quick than fast, right? If you just have straight long speed, all right, that's nice, but can you separate? Can you make people miss? That's when it's a little bit more important to be quick. This is one of his most impressive reps as a running back right now. One, looks like he's got good feel as a running back. More importantly, I mean, look at how he's able to get in and out of his cuts, go through arm tackles. This is really just a ball of lightning with the football in his hands. And again, what better offense could Isaiah Mozee go to than what they're doing up in Eugene in terms of getting their playmakers the football in space and letting them go operate and get to work? I am really excited about Isaiah Mozee, but more importantly, really excited about what Oregon is building in this 2025 class, where we had this conversation yesterday with Cooper, or not yesterday, last week with Cooper Perry. This Oregon program under Mario Cristobal wasn't necessarily known as like, hey, if you are an elite offensive weapon, you come to the Oregon Ducks. Dan Lanning takes over. I don't think that's the vision that we had for this program. 2 years down the road, this is an Oregon offense that was one of the best units in the country in 2023. Had Bo Nix, who was in the Heisman conversation, had guys like Bucky Irving and Troy Franklin, who are going to be selected very high in the NFL draft. you look at this Oregon program and say, yeah, it's suddenly attracting a lot of top playmakers on the offensive side of the football. We knew Dan Lanning was going to be able to recruit the defensive side of the football. I think the question was, can he get it going on offense? Achilles Smith Jr. locked in at quarterback, Dallas Wilson at wide receiver, Cooper Perry, you add Isaiah Mozee. This is an Oregon Ducks program that is starting to get that reputation that attracts offensive talent from all over the country to come play in Eugene, right? Dallas Wilson from Tampa, Florida, Cooper Perry from Arizona, Isaiah Mozee from the Midwest in Missouri. Another massive commitment for Dan Lanning. Getting started in this 2025 class, we kind of said this is when Dan Lanning starts to get to work building his high school classes out. Really excited to cover it. We'll talk transfer portal as well. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.